Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Ron Kresha. I'm the operating officer for Golden Shovel Agency. I'm pleased to have with us today Justin Sommer from Grow Piqua in Ohio. And I've asked Justin to come on and explain a little bit about his experience with using lead forensics. We partnered with lead forensics earlier this year, and we've been using it for a number of years, but have just found the data that it provides and the insights into the leads that we get just to be very, very insightful and helpful. And Justin signed up and started using the data as well. And then I noticed that he was logging in on a daily basis. And so I reached out to Justin and said, hey, it looks like you're finding some value in this data, and offered to have him come and just talk in a conversational way about how he's using lead forensics and what some of the advantages that he's found. And so hopefully we can just make this really a conversational piece. It isn't so much a training piece. We can get into some of the details and some of the particulars if you'd like. But I'll start off first, and I'll introduce Justin. I'll just have you say hi, then I'll go to Ashley, and I'll come back to you. So Justin, if you want to get your voice on for everyone, please do so.
Good morning. Thanks for attending. I'm happy to share what my experience has been with Golden Shovel and specifically the lead forensics tool. So thanks for joining us this morning.
Awesome. So we're going to come back to you in just a second. And I want to get Ashley's voice on the record as well, so you know her. Ashley does our lead forensics training and knows the ins and outs of the software, and she is a great resource for us. So she'll be running behind the scenes here. Ashley, if you want to say hi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm really excited today, and I'm so glad that you all can join us and learn a little bit more of lead forensics.
Okay, with that, I think you've heard enough from me. Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Ron. Just to give you all a little context of my organization and the challenges that I'm sure many of you share related to economic development. We are a public-private partnership. Our community sits about 20 miles north of Dayton, Ohio. Relatively small city, about 21,000 population, but we sit amongst some larger metros. So we're about equidistant from Columbus, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis. And Toledo, if you wanted to throw that in there as well. Being a small organization, we are a staff of me. And I have other duties as well, in addition to the Grow Piqua Now organization. So time is always a challenge. When I came to the organization about 3.5, 4 years ago, we were doing advertising, as I'm sure that you all are doing as well, but really didn't have any strategic plan related to our advertising. It was a significant portion of our budget, actually more than 50% of our budget, goes towards advertising. We had no way to really demonstrate to our stakeholders what the return on that advertising was, nor did we have any way to really determine strategically where our spend should be. So through evaluation and experience, we made the move to Golden Shovel, and that relationship has been fantastic because of their specialization within economic development. And then the lead forensics tool, which really drills down into the data that I need to be able to make strategic decisions about how I spend my time and my budget, specifically related to advertising. So I've been on lead forensics, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months now. I'm kind of a data geek anyway, so I am logging in every day to see what activity is going on. And I know Ashley's going to share just a few details of kind of how you can pull data out of lead forensics. But for me, it is an extreme benefit to know where people are going, where they're spending their time on my website, and really more importantly, where are they coming from, so I can think strategically about where that advertising spend is going to be in the future.
And Justin, just a question. This is probably a loaded question because I know what I look for. How do you look at the visitor list? I mean, do you specifically look for leads that are coming in?
I'm looking at everybody. So that tells me is I have the ability to look at everybody, which means I need to drive more traffic to the website to begin with. But a quick story on that, Ron. One of the companies that hit my site looked at every page, and they spent like 20 minutes on my site. And I just did a quick Google search of them and found out that they were a PR firm. So my assumption was that they had heard about my site at a conference or somewhere and were just kind of checking out what I was doing, trying to steal business was what I assumed. But then they hit my site again. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd that they've come back. So I did a little more research into them, and it turns out that they are the PR firm for one of the leads that I'm working. So I haven't got any confirmation that the project is coming, but their PR firm is doing a lot of research on my community and my website. So I want to take that as a good sign. So that's just kind of, the way that the tool can work. It can give you insight into your projects that you would really have no other way of knowing, because we all work in the confidential world, and we know we don't get all the information from our clients. So that little piece of information, makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about the activity that we're doing, and I can communicate at least in some positive way to our stakeholders about implementing our strategic plan.
Yeah, excellent. That's a great story.
All right, just to give everyone a little bit of context of what Justin was talking about, I'm going to jump into the Lead Forensics visitors list. And he was talking about being able to see that company was visiting each one of his pages and able to see how long they were on each page. And so this right here is the visitors list Ron was referring to. And this is a demonstration module. And so all this information here is a demonstration. But once you click on a company from that visitors list or an organization, you're able to drill down and see their path in your website. And so here's the picture of all of this is where Justin was able to see every single web page that this organization had potentially visited. And this is an example of how long they stayed on each web page. Just to give everyone a little bit of a visual of what he was talking about and what Lead Forensics can do. Okay, Justin, so within Lead Forensics, how do you feel it has improved your efficiency? You were saying that you're kind of a one-man show and you've got a lot on your plate. And so how do you feel that Lead Forensics is able to really give you more bang for your buck and improve your efficiency and streamline your efforts?
So our previous advertising strategy was kind of the spaghetti against the wall approach. I mean, we just kind of threw things out there and really didn't have any set plan as to what it was going to do for us. We thought that it may be doing good things, but we really didn't know. So Lead Forensics allows me to really target into what my audience is seeking. So when my website is specifically designed for site selectors and business attraction. That's the market that I'm trying to target. And kind of being a data geek, maybe I'm slanted towards providing the data and resources. But the reality is that they already have that information. They've done their due diligence and location determination. So, they already know what my population is. They know what my labor shed is. What they don't know is what is it like to do business here. And so what I have found from the data analysis that Lead Forensics allows me to do is that the most hit section of my website is related to our success stories. So the market that I'm targeting really wants to hear what it's like to do business here, how are companies succeeding, what are their pain points, how are they able to grow, and so that tells me that I need to invest more time into developing those stories and telling those stories, and I can spend less time on trying to mine data. So you know, as I, with the limited time that I have to do any one thing, it allows me to concentrate that time and those efforts to something that I can demonstrate is valuable to the audience that I'm trying to hit.
Great. So within the lead forensics portal, which tool and which aspect of lead forensics are you using the most to streamline that data? And so Ron was saying earlier that he noticed you were logging in every day. Is that true? And how often are you using lead forensics? And within lead forensics, where do you find yourself the most?
So yes, it is true. I am logging in every day. And really, I'm looking at that main screen that shows who my last hits are, where are they coming from, so that, you know, it breaks it down by state, who's hitting my site. So I like to see just that quick snapshot, who's hitting my website in the last day. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next few weeks. I'm headed to a trade show next week, so I know that the consultant I work with to set up meetings is contacting companies that'll be at the trade show. So I'm really interested to see, is anybody seeking me out prior to that trade show? And then after I make those visits, who is following up and seeking out more information about my community. So I haven't had that opportunity yet since I've had the tool, but I'm really excited to see what happens with that activity. And again, that'll inform decisions going forward. So is my time spent away from the office going to visit these companies paying off? So it'll help me strategize how I spend my time, how I spend my dollars, and really make most effective use of the resources that I have.
Yeah, awesome. And that's a really cool thing. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to jump in on something you said there, Justin, that I think is so critical for economic developers is the efficiency and how you spend your time. We work with a lot of clients, and a lot of people, they want to drive visitors, obviously, and they look at this number, how many visitors are I getting? But what I'm actually finding, I mean, because we can drive visitors, or you can find ways to drive just generic eyeballs to your site. But one of the things that you're doing is you're actually finding the quality in these leads. So, you know, I've always found that better is better. I mean, not more is not necessarily better, but better is just better. And you're finding and able to drill into a specific lead and take it somewhere versus, as you said, the spaghetti on the wall approach.
Exactly. And that's, you know, that's something that Google Analytics is not going to provide me, right? I mean, there may be a little bit of overlap in information. You know, I can see from Google Analytics where people are coming from, but who they are and why they're on my site, I don't have that data from Google Analytics. So having this tool to know exactly who is looking and why they're looking, that's the data that I need to make decisions, right? It's not just about numbers. It's about being smart with the data those numbers provide.
Changing focuses a little bit, Justin, I wanted to ask you, how was the learning curve with lead forensics, and how do you feel it's user-friendly, and how quickly were you able to learn how to use the service?
Yeah, it's very intuitive. So Ashley, it was a couple of months after I had the tool before you and I actually connected, and you kind of walked me through some of the things that I was missing with the tool, but I was still able to get into it with ease, find information that I was looking for, you were able to share with me some shortcuts that I could be more efficient with my time and utilizing the tool. But I had no problem going in there on my own and being able to find the data that I was looking for. So very easy to use.
Yeah, and that's what I actually was really excited about when we were able to connect. Is had been working in the tool on your own for a few months, and you were able to figure it out, teach yourself, and then when we actually got on for the formal training, you knew exactly what I was talking about. And like you said, I only really showed you some shortcuts, but it is an extremely user-friendly tool, and it's very easy to learn, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm interested to see more. I haven't delved into the reports yet. It's something that I will use as I'm forced to provide some data back to my stakeholders. I've got a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm sure I'll be diving into reporting and may have some questions for Ashley. But it really is an intuitive tool, and of course, as with anything with Golden Shovel, if you have questions, they're there to help you through it and provide timely responses. So that this business is still about relationships, and Golden Shovel exceeds at that.
Yeah, earlier when we were talking about Lead Forensics, something you had mentioned that you really appreciated and liked about Lead Forensics was the ability to see which pages your visitors are viewing. And that can be seen looking right here at the visitors list and then drilling down into their actual journey within your website. But another thing you can do in the reportings in the reports that's really great is you can run different reports based on different pages, and pulling the most popular exit page where visitors have actually left your website and finding out which page, if there's any patterns or any common page that they're leaving. Same with the landing page, and then also just being able to see your most active page views. And so just to show an example of that, this report you can just run extremely quickly, and it's able to show you your visitors, and then it's sorted by the highest number of page views at this point, and the report gives us the ability to export it to different programs or email it, and you can email it to yourself or other people outside of the Lead Forensics login. They don't have to be added into the Lead Forensics portal itself for you to email a report to them. So that's a wonderful tool.
And Ashley, can I follow up on that for a second?
Yes.
So the whole, I keep saying advertising because to me it's an advertising campaign. It's not just about a website, right? And oftentimes I've been through, I don't know how many website redesigns, but you put so much work into getting that website the way that you want it. You do the launch, and then you're so relieved to have that process over. It kind of sits there, and having this information provides the spark to go back to your website and look at it again, and what needs revised, what should you move to the first page, what should you make it easier for your audience to find on your website. And because a website should not be static, it needs to be dynamic, and if you're not making changes to it, then people will be disinterested and not think that you're progressive, and you could lose opportunities that way, right? So having this information will allow me to go back with the Golden Shovel team and say, okay, these are the changes I think we need to look at in the next year to make it easier for my audience to find what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's so good, and that's so true. And that's exactly what we need to be doing. Is when we do have a website, we need to be interacting with it and keeping tabs on what's working and what's not working, and being able to have that ability is extremely powerful. All right, so one final question I have for you, Justin, is, so within Lead for Analytics, is there a particular tool that you find yourself going back to over and over again, or something that you feel has just really helped your workflow process?
Yeah, for me, it's the visitor list. That's the most specific information that I can get that I wouldn't have any other way to track outside of this tool. You know, and the value of that, it's already led to a visit with a site selector. So I noticed, I was able to see that a site selector had hit on my site, and they had specifically hit my site and building database. So I was making a market visit anyway. Obviously reached out to that site selection company to set up an individual visit with them. So hopefully they think that was just coincidence that I made the call, but maybe not. But either way, it again allows me to direct my activity to items that I think will have the biggest return.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you have anything that you would like to add? Any last closing comments?
Again, this business is about relationships and developing that relationship. So the importance, as Ron said, it's not about how many hits your website is getting, it's about how valuable are those hits. So the more we can utilize that data to inform our conversation to our target audience, the better off and more successful we'll be.
Justin, you mentioned something warms my heart, and that is with our partnership, you're able to actually talk to people and get out there and do what bring more value rather than focusing on, what is the website, what data is there. So I just want to make sure that I heard that correctly, because it actually was very beneficial that you're actually taking the data and you're expanding your job versus spending more time looking at your screen.
Absolutely, and that was the initial conversation 3 years ago with my board was, yeah, we need to have a great website. What do you want me spending my time doing? Developing web content or going out and having conversations with decision makers? Obviously, the answer was meet with decision makers. So partnering with Golden Shovel has given me the tools to spend more time out in the field, developing relationships, talking to our existing businesses, talking to new business attraction that we're targeting, site selectors. And it's like I said, it's still about relationships. So if I'm behind my computer screen, I'm not out developing those relationships. So yeah, I mean, these tools make me more effective in my job and allow me, and we're seeing it. We've had more activity this year than I can track for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's because we're being smarter with our time. I'm not working any harder, I can guarantee you that. We're just using the tools that are available to us in an effective way.
Is there, I know we have a small group here. Is there any questions from the group? And you're welcome to go ahead and type those in on your dashboard, and would love to throw some questions to Justin or make this expand the conversation. And Justin, you may have done such a great job you don't have any either.
I've wowed them. The silence.
And I'm going to check. Victor, do we have the ability to unmute the audience?
Yes, of course, we can do that. We can totally do that, Ron.